majoring in genetics and physiology. So the job title I pass by nowadays is genetic engineer because it sounds pretty cool.
Genetic
It's not.
engineer. Fuck me, Dad. I'm a fucking podcast host now. If you had told me a year ago
That's
you're hosting
right.
a podcast, I would have slapped you across the head.
Oh, this is a bit of a hot take, but I'll put Battlefield 5. It's
And that's a
think,
wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching.
or even camos for like, say, class camos, like tier 1 in all weapons in the class, you get this camo. Like that's such an easy thing to add. The problem is, so I go to gym at like our work, like my work has a gym, and so I go to the gym there. Problem is I've maxed out on the
Shut the
power
fuck.
rack.
Like this is what I wear to the gym. This is my fucking Kmart drip.
Like I have a couple of
Look at
nice
this.
shoes that I wear out.
Fucking some grey shorts and a gander hoodie. Like this is.
Oh,
I train in whatever's comfortable.
Gander's goated, mate. I love that for you. I've got a fair bit of Gander stuff.
Too nice of a guy. I don't know how you're real. Genetic engineer, handsome, super kind, strong as fuck. You're just the alpha male, honestly.
Go for it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 6 of the First Person Creator Showcase podcast, a podcast in which I interview all different kind of interesting and awesome FPS content creators, whether they're streamers, YouTubers, whether they have 10 followers, 10,000 followers. Don't care if you're interested. If you're interesting, you're on my show. Just a heads up, this may or may not be a disaster. I've switched to a dual PC setup, so there may be audio issues here and there if I'm too loud or my guest is too loud or whatever. Please let me know. Just send me a message on Twitter or whatever. That's at AussieMenaceTTV. Just let me know. If any feedback would be fantastic and much appreciated. I just want to start off the episode by giving a special shout out to a couple of little buddies of mine that have been showing a lot of support to the show on Twitter. They've just been sending kind messages saying, they love the show, love what you're doing. And it does mean a lot to me. The support is what really drives me. So shout out to Jax and Dexy. So their Twitters are at Jax Nielsen. That's JaxNeilson. And Dexy's is at DEXYYOW. So special shout out to them. They've been, as I said, they've been showing a lot of love, just being very kind and generous, and it does go a long way. Like it does mean a lot. So today's guest is probably one of the best OCE Battlefield players I've ever seen. I've played a lot of games with him, and fuck me dead, has it humbled me. Because I think, I'm pretty decent at this game, but then he's going 110-2. So everyone, give a warm welcome to my good friend, Trigger.
What a welcome, jeez. G'day, guys. How you doing? How you doing?
So tell me a little bit about yourself, buddy. Like, what do you do? What do you stream? Obviously, I just spoiled it, but like, tell me about yourself, man.
That's a lot. That's a lot to say. All right. Well, I'm Trigger. 23 years old. Live in Sydney, Australia. And yeah, so I started streaming about almost a year ago now, and I'd never really considered streaming, but I kind of just got someone just sort of talked me into it, saying you might enjoy it. Never know what it could take you, and I've always had the opinion like, why not? Like, it's more the question of why not rather than why. And so I just went ahead and did it. And yeah, here we are. We're at what, 2,000 Twitch followers, 250 followers on Twitter, and yeah, get some good numbers there on stream, and I really enjoy it. And obviously, I think not even like numbers don't like. I'm not really one to worry too much about all that, but sort of just the best thing about it is just been meeting all these people in it's definitely in the OCE scene for Battlefield, but even on the wider scale, people I never would have interacted with, met with, and there's some real great connections I've made through that, including yourself, mate. Probably would have never crossed paths.
Well, I appreciate that, and yeah, like your Twitch is very huge. Like, I'll just hop on Twitch. Next thing you know, Trigger's got 75 viewers. But the best thing about it is he talks to every single person in his chat. So he's a very good bloke. He's a very good bloke, and fucking talented too. He's just ridiculous. I don't know how he does it.
Try to interact with everyone in there, because they're there to. It's just like a conversation, and it's they're spending their time watching you, so you might as well spend your time talking to them.
Fucking excellent mindset to have.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm I guess outside of gaming. I've just graduated a couple of months back
Woo!
from my undergrad. So yeah, I did a Bachelor of Science, majoring in genetics and physiology. So the job title I pass by nowadays is genetic engineer because it sounds pretty cool.
Genetic engineer. Fuck me, Dad.
It's not necessarily totally accurate, but it's accurate enough that it sounds good enough for me.
You can justify how cool it sounds. Fucking stick with it.
All right,
How many people do you meet and they're just like, yeah, what do you do for a living? I'm a fucking genetic engineer. That's alpha shit right there.
no, I enjoy it. I've just I've been working in biotech now for the last couple of months, just getting started in there. And yeah, that's my day job. But then at night, back on my computer, playing some Battlefield or just FPS games in general. I haven't actually always been a Battlefield player, but we can talk about that later.
Oh, see, I
Yeah,
didn't know
and
that.
yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm a relatively new face on the scene, I guess.
Oh, shit. All right.
So
Hey, Evan, I'm
yeah, we can
learning
get to
something
know
now. Hell yeah. So what he's basically admitting to is he's a genetic engineer. So he's altered his own genes to have human aimbots. So really, he's cheating. I mean, come on.
Is it
You've been
cheating?
caught.
Is
You've
it
been
cheating
caught.
though?
No, no, you know what?
No,
I'll let it slide.
no scripts here. Just it's all genetic. Like anyone, it's just a standard deviation, mate. No, if I could genetically engineer myself, I would, but there's a few laws in place nowadays that prevent that from happening.
Here's a
It's a
hot
bit like
take. I would never want to be genetically altered. I'm very happy with who I am, and everyone else should be too. That's a good mindset as well.
that is a good mindset,
Just a
but
little positive
I just
note there.
yeah, I'm not wouldn't really do it for like the just for the personal sake of it, but more like just the experimental sake of it, and just like what can be done.
Actually, I
Um,
changed my mind. I want Arnold's chest. Yep,
yeah,
that's my new
those
thing.
yeah, I'll do anything for good carb genetics. Like
Oh,
those
mine are
carbs be lacking.
fucking terrible. Oh my god, they're awful. But you know,
Carbs are
we
yeah,
try.
yep, carbs are completely genetic. Can't
Yep.
tell me anything otherwise.
Oh yeah, nah. It doesn't matter how many. If you don't have good calf genetics, it doesn't matter how many
Responsiveness.
reps you do.
Yes, Mac. Yes,
That's it.
Magpie. Yeah. Hey, Aqua, how you doing?
Hey,
But
thanks for the spotlight, Aqua.
yeah, yeah. So I guess leading into that, in my spare time, spend a lot of time at the gym. I love skiing. So I try to go skiing at least a couple of times per year. Whether that's here in Australia, or overseas. And yeah, other than that, just yeah, I think that encompasses about everything I am.
Right, that's it. Thanks to everyone for listening and watching. All right. Well, so I'm just gonna sit here and just be the beta male right now because you're just talking about skiing and gym and you got a chiseled jaw, great beard, and I'm just here with a fucking dirty mullet I cut myself and shitty facial hair for someone the
I must
same
admit,
age as you.
I've
It's
once had a mullet, so you're not too far
I
off,
mean,
mate.
mine is fucking glorious. Like, look at the length of that.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
when I had the mullet, it was nothing like that. It was you know, the just at the collar, but nah, I don't think I have the commitment to get to where you're
Well, I'm a boilermaker, so I don't have to look good for anyone. I just go and
at.
weld things, and I come home. Basically, weld things, go to the gym, come home.
Yep.
You seen
Yeah.
better
No,
mullets?
it's fair.
Banned, magpie. Get out of the stream. All right, so let's give
Oh
a little
dear.
rundown of your FPS history. So you said you haven't actually mained Battlefield for very long. So give me a brief
Hmm.
rundown of what you've played in the past.
Well, I guess we can talk where it all started. So, man, where's so my brother and I, we've sort of always played like games together. And I guess the first game I guess FPS game we'd play was Big Game Hunter. on PC.
Oh,
So it was like
fuck yeah.
it's this game, what, like 2005, I think it was released. And it's this game where you drive around on an ATV and you're hunting animals like in the North American wilderness. And that was sort of my intro, I guess, to FPS. It wasn't a
Very unique
shooter or
intro. I'll
anything.
give you that.
There's no one shooting back at you. It's just, it's just animals and stuff. But yeah, I vividly remember playing that back in the day. So that's where it started. I guess the first proper FPS that I played, um, funnily enough, it was on the Wii, and it was Call of Duty Black Ops 1.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah,
Fuck
so
yes. That's my first FPS.
yeah, I love that game to bits. The red tiger camo just will
Oh.
never be done the same.
Oh. Even gold in
And
that game just hit Dippy.
yeah. So I was playing that on the Wii, so it's not actually wasn't even on mouse and keyboard at that stage. But I guess some of the game sense and stuff maybe developed there. Um, but so that I guess that was my first proper FPS. I then was always playing like COD throughout the years and stuff. But I was maining Counter Strike after that, so Global Offensive, and a little bit of 1.6 before that. But yeah, I was, I guess, through high school, I was playing that mostly. Counter Strike, Overwatch 1, once that released, I think that was 2016. Let me fact check myself.
Wait, which Counter Strike?
Overwatch 1.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. Sorry, I blanked out.
Yeah.
I saw someone in the chat say something, and I'm just mind
Yeah.
blown.
No, you're
Mind
right.
blown. Small world. Holy fuck. Yeah,
um,
Overwatch 1 was 2016, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, it is. So yeah, I was playing those two games mostly for that time. But yeah, I think the first Battlefield I really got into was Battlefield 1, and I didn't get into it too much. I played it a little bit. Like I got a couple of like service stars on a couple of weapons, but yeah, I wasn't super into it. I don't know if it was like the setting or it just didn't click with me, I guess. But then uh, when Battlefield 5 came out, that's when I really got into, I guess, Battlefield games. I played so much Battlefield 5 at launch. This was before the game got screwed around by TTK changes and all this. It was still a bit of a shit show at launch, but not so much as I've heard on Battlefield 4 or even much less than 2042.
Oh, that's
So
a whole thing, isn't it?
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh yeah.
So yes, it was. I love that game to bits. I know it gets a lot of flack for various reasons, but to me, it worked for me. I vibed with it. And I eventually strayed away from it after they made a couple of like changes to TTK and just other things going on in my life, like final year of high school and etc. But actually, in the time between sort of at uni, I was playing Battlefield 5 on and off. I was playing CS:GO, Overwatch, all of those three sort of combined. And then, yeah, once up until I guess last year, before 2042 release, I was playing a fair amount of Battlefield 5, just sort of preparing, like a little bit of training, I guess you could say. Um, yeah, and so play a fair amount of that, got pretty good at that. And so it was at that stage that I started to learn the names of people in the community. Like I'd heard of Silk, I guess, before then, Spy, Shady, Snitsy at the time, couple of others. And yeah, sort of that's when got to know those names. And I don't know anyone else here would know that they've been around the Battlefield community for years, since Battlefield 4 days, even before then, some of them. And yeah, it's I guess what's different about me is I wasn't a part of like any of that until after 2042 release. Like I played Battlefield 5 for myself, and sort of when I played, I was playing with my brother at times, but usually just like it would just be me. I wasn't playing with friends or people that I knew. And it was just me, sort of just fragging out, having fun, just testing out weapons, just yeah. Sometimes like when I kill like say a shady or a silk, like that was fun, but there wasn't any personal like sort of aspect to it. Like I didn't know them at the time. And then so 2042 comes around and played the beta for that, had a bit of fun with that. And on release, I sort of figured, why not now? Like, why not start streaming with this game? And it sort of was a perfect mix of, because of the state of the game at launch, as you might not know, but I feel like it's actually pretty widely publicized, but a lot of people turned away from the game. Lots of big streamers went to Valorant or even COD, Warzone especially. Even though Warzone was on the decline, like people just needed something else other than 2042 because of the state it was in. And that sort of definitely contributed to how I was able to grow quickly. Because
especially with how niche 2042 became.
Yeah. So it just became less competition. And so it was sort of a perfect pairing of other people leaving, as well as the game's sort of being a AAA title, so there's still some viewers there. And yeah, once I got sort of some viewers, it sort of just grew from there. And then through that, I was able to get to know some of the bigger streamers, namely, I guess, Silk, Shady, Spy, Decisive, Ash, I guess. And that's been, I guess, the fun part of it, is meeting all these people, getting to know all of them. And
I think the 2042 OCE community is really nice. Like, I aim to stream Battlefield every Saturday. I kind of have this thing I'm starting to do, like Saturday Night Battlefield, because I like to just have a few bevies, play it. It is a fun game, especially now after all the changes and all the quote unquote fixes. But yeah, and you know, I get raided by Trigger himself and Cyanide and Coach Critical. Like, I don't ask for those raids; they just happen.
Yeah, I forgot to mention Cy and Coach. They've been there that whole time too. And special
really
shout
good
out
blokes.
to them. Yeah,
like there's no one in the OC Battlefield community that is just a pain in the ass. Everyone's just really nice and very kind.
There's been a little bit of drama here and there, but no.
I've seen a little bit. I've seen a little bit. Some 1v1 shit, but you know, in general, it's pretty good. Now, I don't I know for the people on podcasts, like on the apps, I don't tend to do this very much because, you know, you are listening to a podcast, not watching a Twitch stream. But a special little shout out to the Prom, who just tipped 25 Australian dollars. Thank you very much. Very generous, very kind. Very unnecessary. You're here. This is all free, but hey, I'll take your funds. Thank you. I much appreciated.
One of my regular viewers there. Shout out to Prom.
Absolute legend. All right. Yeah. So you have a I'd say a similar history in FPS games to me. Like, I started with Black Ops 1 and then I just dabbled in other stuff. And now I just play fucking whatever. So
yeah, no,
Black Ops 1 will always hold this most special part in my heart. Like, that game is just the best.
Yeah.
In every single way, it is perfect. And no one can tell me otherwise.
I loved it. Array, man.
Oh my god, Array. Bring back Array in a fucking ground war or something. Oh. Yeah. Literally every map. Maybe it's just nostalgia because I was like, 2010? I was 11 years old. Yeah, so everything was good. But like, come on, it was every map.
No, the games were better back then, for sure.
They were, of course they were. But also, like, we had no responsibilities, so now we're adults and we're miserable.
Nah, not miserable, mate. We're just vibing.
No, we're chilling. We're big vibing. I'm a fucking podcast host now. If you had told me a year ago you're hosting a podcast, I would have slapped you across the head. Like, I'm not going to do something dumb like that.
Why not?
But hey, I've made great friends online, and I've built a little bit of community. And bada bing, bada boom, I'm a podcast host. So it's whatever. Right.
Mate,
So, what was your
bigger,
first
bigger and
console?
better.
What was your first console, and what was your first PC? What were the specs?
All
Interested
right.
in that.
Well, my one and only console was actually the Wii. So I've never played
Only.
Xbox, PlayStation. Never been on
You
the
never went
sticks.
through the 360 days.
No, did
Ah, how I
not.
envy you. How I envy you.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare
So
custom lobby trick shotting. Oh my god.
no, none of that. So yeah, I've completely just never got into it. I guess the main reason why is just never. I guess my parents never got my brother or I Xbox or PlayStation. So just always been on either keyboard and mouse or I guess the Wii. But
The fucking nunchucks and the little
The Wii,
Wiimote.
the nunchucks, just playing Wii Sports and Wii Resort. I mean, I put some hours into Wii Resort, mate. But
Oh fuck yeah.
yeah.
Challenge
So
me in
yeah,
Wii Sports bowling. I dare you. Wii Sports boxing. I'll kick your ass any
yeah.
day.
My parents are obviously aim assist haters, and rightfully so. So
Based.
base parents.
All right.
Yeah. So my first
Oh yeah, that's how PC.
computer.
I'm jumping the gun here.
No, you're good, mate. Was a HP Pavilion, which is like this
Oh shit.
god awful like
Oh,
laptop.
yep. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I had one of those. I think my
I
dad
don't.
had one of those.
I Pentium maybe Intel Pentium.
Yuck.
Just
Oh,
back in that day.
that's a cursed word.
Yeah.
Pentium.
So
Oh, Intel Pentium. Fucking hell. Better than Celeron. That
yeah.
was just awful.
Don't go quite that far back, but
Yeah, that's woo. Yikes.
yeah. So that's what I was playing those first sort of FPS games on, and then that progressed into a Dell laptop, which then progressed into a Razer Blade 17-inch laptop. That was around when I was 15, 14 or
That's when you started
15.
getting like more serious tech.
Yeah, yeah. So I was, but at that stage, I was still sort of, I guess, naive to the whole PC building and how overpriced those Alienware and Razer laptops are. Um, so yeah, basically, I went down that path, got the Razer Blade, and then after that was an Alienware R4, which is also another gaming laptop. The main reason was I'm from the country, so I was actually going
Yes.
home every I was going home every week, no, not weekend, every like term or semester, and yeah, I had to basically go like pack up my laptop every weekend or have the ability to do that. But I didn't ever build a PC because of that constraint, and so I was also at boarding school, so that also contributed to me moving a lot. So it just worked to my I guess my situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the first chance where I was able to build a PC was when I moved out. Well, I finished school and started uni. And so yeah, I guess first year uni was when I built this bad boy here. With a lot of the same components are still there. That was back in 2017.
Oh,
Um,
you might
and
have to
yeah,
upgrade soon.
yeah. So I've upgraded. Since that time, I've upgraded the cooling as well as my GPU, but I still got that i9 9900K in there, and that's been it's been serving me well since then.
I mean, your
It's been
stream
doing
quality is
okay.
really good, so something's right.
Yeah, it gets pretty hot, so that's why the cooling got upgraded. But everything else is sort of been added since then, and yeah, I guess that's the history of my PC, my
Okay.
consoles, all that.
So, I mean, you're not as like super deep into it as I thought you would be. Not like I had the 360, I had the PS3, I had PS4, Xbox
Yeah,
One.
yeah.
I've had multiple PCs now. Like, and hey, well, obviously you're doing something right because you're fucking better than me. But I
That's
was on
just
controller until like 2 years ago.
yeah. The secret is don't touch controllers, mate.
Oh,
Don't touch those sticks.
that was such a crutch. I stopped playing. My first keyboard and mouse game. I used to play a little bit of Modern Warfare, COD 4, on a laptop with a trackpad back in the day with some mates. But Modern Warfare 2019 was like when I started keyboard and mouse. But about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
I played a lot. I played a lot of Modern Warfare 2019 as well as Black Ops 2. But yeah, sort of.
Hey, hot take: Black Ops 2 is not as good as people think it is.
Oof,
real hot take.
Rough. Not as good as Black Ops 1 for sure, but I really enjoyed it. I think it's
the multiplayer.
It's in my top 3. It's in my top 3.
Hey, well, speaking of top 3, you finished what you're saying? You finished what you're saying?
No, you go ahead. That's all.
I would like to debut a new segment of the show called the Desert Island FPS. So, every guest from now on has to come onto the show with 3 games prepared, FPS games prepared. And the hypothetical situation is they're put on an island that has access to internet. So it's not really a desert, but whatever. It's a fucking gimmick. Leave me alone. So, Trigger, starting with number 1. So you've got 3 games you've got to choose from. And just briefly explain what they are and why you chose them. So start with number 1.
All right. Well, number 1, something that's already been mentioned a fair bit on this podcast with Black Ops 1.
Yes. Yes.
Got to go with where it all started for me. So, bit of a nostalgia trip there. And can't really go wrong there. Just got to have enough servers, I guess, for it. But no, I reckon that's pretty good.
If you're in a world where you can be stuck on a desert island with internet, I'm sure there'll be servers in this fake ass world.
There's hypotheticals. It accounts for that. Yeah. All right.
Number 2. What's number 2?
Oh,
we've already spoken about Black Ops 1, so
yeah,
pretty sure we understand why it's on there now.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to say Overwatch 1. It was like the first, I guess, along with CS:GO, but I preferred Overwatch just because of how much I feel like there's a much greater skill variability and game sense required with Overwatch, positioning wise, as well as it's just so many aspects to it, and the skill ceiling's just almost infinite on that game. And I've played so much of it, and I really enjoyed it. It's a shame that it sort of faded out. There wasn't any like one event that sort of caused it to, I guess, not be as permanent as say a Valorant or a CS:GO, but it's just I wish that they'd always stayed popular. And I guess one of the main reasons is in the OCE region, like it's just the server populations. Like once it gets to a certain point, it just becomes queue times of like 20-30 minutes for like a DPS or damage.
That's why when like cool new games come out, like say Gundam Evolution or whatever, that's gonna die within a week in OCE. Like if it's not AAA, it's dead within a week.
Right, it wasn't even released in OCE and it's already dead. So I called. That was something I tweeted out. Like when Gundam got released, I was like, "This game's dead in a week. It's just another Splitgate." And that's Silk. Yeah, I knew. And that's what happens. And then like Overwatch 2 was on the horizon, and I figured like as soon as Overwatch 2 releases, Gundam's gone. And
dead in the water.
It's a bit.
Like look at Shadowline. That's kind of just fallen off now.
Yeah, I think. So the past couple of years have been very much like just filler FPSs, and like you had Bloodhunt, you had Shadowline, you had Splitgate, you had what do you call it? I just said it. Gundam. Like all of these like just filler FPS because there was just such a lack of quality AAA FPSs, or you either had to go back to like the classics of a CS:GO or the real like intensity of Valorant. There wasn't that casual FPS feel, and then when you had Halo Infinite drop the bag.
Oh my god! Don't even say that around me because I'm just gonna get angry. I am going to get angry. Me and the boys. I've been friends with my like I have a very tight friendship circle. Right, we've always loved Halo, Ever since school, like we always play. And look, we've all got matching tattoos, right? Anyway, so we waited years for Infinite, right? Well, Halo 5 was pretty damn good, right? We were keen as fuck for Halo Infinite. They're like, this is going to be the future of Halo. We're going to play this. And literally played the beta. I was like, I'm bored after 3 games of the beta. And the full game released, and it was like a small playlist update. That's it. Don't get me started on Infinite. Oh my god, I could fucking cry.
Oh, it's a touchy subject. I'll avoid that.
I mean, yeah. It's whatever.
Infinite drops the bag. 2042 dropped the bag, and what else? There was one other.
20 people in them.
Called
DreamHack Halo.
I think it was COD. Cold War or not Cold War. That was Cold War. Yeah, they were all just poor, and So, and even before that, Vanguard. Sorry, Cold War, then Vanguard, and it's just both for
2 shit releases in a row. It was very rough, especially from a COD main. Like I hated Cold War with a passion, and then Vanguard I enjoyed for like 2 weeks, and then it was just shotgun, riot shield, dust house.
Yeah, I think I played Vanguard for 1 week, and I played Cold War for maybe 6 weeks, maybe, and just both of them just skill-based matchmaking or just stupid hit reg or just skill, and then you get score streaked, like just bullied. Like
Warzone was the big baby. It was literally just filler content. Like, hey, buy this, and we're gonna make all the weapons in this the meta, so you have to buy this game to level up all those guns quicker. So for Warzone. It was literally just cash grabs.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah. Zombies was good. I agree, Dawson. I played so most of my time on Cold War was actually playing zombies. Yeah. So
you gotta acknowledge that. I fucking loved.
Oh yeah. Overwatch is on there, and then third. Oh, this is a bit of a hot take, but I'll put Battlefield 5.
That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Have an excellent evening. Explain yourself. The floor is yours, buddy. Explain yourself. I'll just go for a piss. Nah, I'm kidding. Tell me why.
I should just leave it there. No,
it is a hot take.
That is a bit hot. So I just got with that game. I know it has its issues. It definitely has its issues, but I know it was the first game that my brother and I really got into together. And that really, like, I know, it sits well with me, like that kind of thing. Like, we just have fond memories of playing that together, like Breakthrough and Irijima. Like, last point, just bringing V1 rockets down like the top of the mountain and getting like 20 kills at once. Like, you don't get like that. You don't get that sort of adrenaline sort of anywhere else. And like, it's just once I started playing that, like, I just realized how much fun it can be as long as you're just playing it right. And like, it has its frustrations, but I figured it out, I guess, over time.
I didn't play much, so I really shouldn't. I shouldn't have an input on it because I barely played it. But from what I've heard, I mean, and what I've seen, yeah. But I can't get mad at you for it, because here's another fucking hot take. One of my games I've taken to the island is Battlefield 1. And we all know everyone hates that game. I loved it.
For the casual Battlefield.
I was a casual 2 cents Timmy on his Xbox One with his surround sound headset, talking to the boys.
Yep.
I loved it. I mean, I tried to go back and play. I've tried playing it like a few months ago, and it's just cheated everywhere, and nowhere near as good as I remember. So I stopped playing because I didn't want to taint the memory.
Fair enough. What are your other two, just for the record?
I have to agree with you on Black Ops 1.
Yeah, I was going to guess that.
Yep, definitely. So Black Ops 1, look, maybe not Battlefield 1, but that is a contender.
Right.
Black Ops 1, definitely.
Halo, maybe?
Halo Reach, yep. Halo Reach, because I had just hundreds of hours in Forge with mates making maps.
Yeah.
God, it was good. And
good
I reckon number 3, controversial one kind of, but probably Modern Warfare 3, because that's the first real multiplayer I got into. Because I didn't play much Black Ops 1 multiplayer. And Modern Warfare 3 was the first time I really got into multiplayer and, like, started making friends and joining quickscoping clans and Infect. Oh my god, do the infected lobbies back in the day?
Yeah.
Like the
I
little tiny glitch, the very hard glitch to do is where you like jump on the side door of the plane, you get up to the top of the plane, and if you got up there in a custom infected lobby, yeah, good luck getting you. God, that was fun. It was so fun.
yeah.
So
No,
yeah, probably Modern Warfare
I
3, Black Ops 1, and Halo Reach, I'd say.
yeah. One of my biggest regrets, I guess, is not have playing, being able to play, or like have played MW2, MW3, Battlefield 4, like those those lofty games of the past, like those
Those
ones
real
that
game
really
changers.
set the standard of FPS, modern
Yeah.
FPS games. Like I missed out on those, and I rue that a lot, because I feel like it would have really it would have set me on a different path for sure, but it's too late to start, says Dawson. Um, well, we
Well,
got
in
2022, don't we,
OCE.
mate?
Oh, it's the
Nah, in
best.
OC,
I'll take that on my
have
herald.
actually I actually have played a little bit of Battlefield 4 the other a couple of months back with Silk, and it was enjoyable for sure, but it was very sweaty nowadays because
Oh yeah.
the people who stay are playing that now, like any of those other games that still have servers running, like they're the grinders. They know all the mechanics.
Oh yeah.
They know their
If you get
shit.
a
So
kill on the admin, fuck off. Goodbye. Me and my
yeah.
friends
No,
used to get like we were playing Black Ops 4, fucking Battlefield 4 a couple years ago on when we
right.
started keyboard and mouse, and the amount of fucking lobbies we got banned from just because we kept on hunting the admins down. Oh my god, it was funny.
Yes.
It was
Yeah,
funny.
I think yeah, I was just getting Zooed and Moozooed and what Moo. I don't even know what the fuck is going on. It's just acronym. I'm just getting acronymed basically. But it was all right because like I was still like able to shoot back and stuff, but it's just those mechanics and stuff. You figure it out. But yeah, I think those are my three, man.
That's a pretty solid three. I mean, Black Ops. Why am I saying Black Ops? Battlefield
What?
5 is a very controversial take, but hey, this is your showcase, so you can say whatever the fuck you want. As long as it
Yeah.
is, you can say it.
But, it's just
So,
I guess that's more of a personal thing for me.
yeah, no, I understand that.
Yeah, it's
It's
not the
like when I
quality
say,
of the game.
apart from Black Ops 1 for nostalgic reasons, for
Yeah,
gameplay reasons, Modern Warfare 2019 is my favorite Call of Duty of all time.
yeah, right. There
That's
you go.
that's a hot take, but that was my first keyboard and
I
mouse Call of Duty, and like the gunplay, the core mechanics of that game, my
yeah,
goodness, so good. The
I'm
sounds,
that's one of
the
my
visuals, all of it.
yeah. I think I'm of a similar vein because a lot of people didn't like the MW2 beta, the most recent one, and I was one of those ones who actually did enjoy it, and
It
it
really
was
is,
more because
bro.
it suited my game. I guess it suited my gameplay style, and so
What,
it
kill
worked
an
for me,
AI?
and I enjoyed it. Nah, fucking hell. Nah, it's just more slow and like ADS kind of rather than that sprinty slide cancel kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
it's
probably
more
didn't enjoy it as much because I am a fucking like movement sweat on Modern Warfare
yeah
2019. Like I like B hopping, side canceling, and I couldn't do that. So it was a bit
yeah
jarring. It was more jarring. I think there were a few
yeah
points where I was playing the Modern Warfare 2 beta. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Like I can't see anything I'm shooting, but it's pretty. It's
yeah.
got
I,
potential. I'll be
I,
getting it, and I'll be going for the mastery camos because I have not been able to do a mastery camo grind since Modern Warfare 2019. Modern Warfare
yep
2019 Damascus was my first ever mastery camo. I had so much
yep
fun doing that. But Black Ops Cold War, bleh,
yeah.
Vanguard, I did Diamond SMGs and
I
I gave
couldn't
up.
even do it. I couldn't do it on those games. I'll probably do the same. Just because yeah, I was enjoying it for what it was, and I mean people can have their opinions, but it's just how I feel, and yeah, I'll see how it goes. And yeah, it's I guess it's a bit like even 2042 in that aspect. It's like just you take it as it is, and like you can say all you want, but it's up to the devs to change it. And there's so many voices to be heard that yeah, it's kind of like it you don't really have too much of a voice in these things, like unless the whole popular opinion is for something, like it's generally even then like they sometimes the devs will just be stubborn and just not even
They have something in
Listen
their
to
mind. They
that.
have a vision that they want to
Yeah,
stick with, no matter
they got
no
their
matter the
vision. Like they
consequences. Yeah.
yeah, like 2042 with a vision of 128 players and no classes and uh heaps of vehicles on each map, no inventory only maps, like all that kind of stuff. It's like they have that vision and then they execute on that vision and then they get that terrible feedback on the vision, but they keep pushing with it. It's like, yeah, it grinds my gears, but you just got to be honest with yourself and realize, yeah, that this is what they are imagining and it might not be what you agree with. So it's either you put up with it or you got find another game. And the problem with 2042 is there was no other game.
Well, 2042 is making a comeback. I will say that.
It is.
They are
Yeah.
introducing content. They are fixing game breaking issues. Even though there's a massive game breaking issue right now where you just crash all the time, but
Yeah.
they've been. I
So
will admit, I got to give them a little bit of credit. They've been giving it a good go. But at what point do you say is it too little, too late? With how
yeah,
much of a dumpster fire that was on launch.
I'm yet to experience the newest update because I've been away for the past couple of weeks in Canada on a work trip, doing a bit of
Canada on a
genetic
work trip.
engineering over there.
Oh my god!
Um,
Shut up.
there we
We
go.
know you're the
Just
best.
slide that in there.
That's a huge flex, by the way.
uh,
Fucking hell.
what do you call
Trigger
it? So
warning
yeah.
flexes. Oh my god.
um, yeah. So I've yet to play the most recent update, but the thing is, up until then, there was actually some really good, like, I think there's some great updates. Obviously, like weapon balance is probably the, I guess, main issue on that like persisting across all the updates. Like it's either the guns are too weak or too strong. I prefer them. I think like I prefer them to be stronger than weak. But all right, so get out of here, mate. Just because it's more enjoyable and it gives you something to sort of grind at that first go, rather than feeling like it's a slog to, I don't know, unlock attachments for a gun, etc. But in terms of actually like fixes and improvements, like they've done well for the past, I'd say, 3 months, maybe a bit longer than that. And it's only like I guess this most recent update where they've dropped the ball again.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's it? Exposure and Stranded have been excellent additions to the game.
I agree, yeah, for
I was
sure.
so hit and miss
Especially,
on Stranded, but I think I like it because it has a lot of QCB,
yes,
CQB,
yes. It's
CQB.
CQB, mate. CQB.
Well, shut
I
up.
just enjoy it for having no vehicles, just on breakthrough,
Yes.
especially. Yeah. So, yeah, on breakthrough, like I only play breakthrough on this game, really, because Conquest is just too big. It's just too big, too many vehicles, too much going on. It's just too unpredictable, I guess. There's no linearity, I guess, to the game, so it's hard to predict where people are going to be. Even with Battlefield 5, like you could guess the flow of where other people are going to be based on points, flags, etc. Because there's so much movement tech in this game, such as Sundance flying halfway across the map, or McKay, or helicopters dropping people off, or insertion beacons, even and now you have the RAM, which has a team beacon. Like you can
Oh,
just
fuck the RAM.
people can be anywhere. So, and that's frustrating because you don't feel like you can play. Yeah, you feel like you have less control, and your game sense, like you either have to be extremely like aware of everything around you, or yeah, you're just dead. So at least with Breakthrough, it's more linear. I'm able to focus on what's in front of me and sort of just play
Get
to
behind
that.
enemies, farm them.
Yeah, so especially on attack, you can go for those flanks because you know where you're going to get outflanked from, which is generally behind you if you're there. And yeah, and on Conquest, like it's just I don't know, the skill. There's so much time in between kills, especially on these massive maps. Like it just gets boring. Whereas with Breakthrough, you're just always in the action, and you're always like that's what you're looking for when you're playing an FPS game. You want to be constantly challenged, constantly in situations, and that's something I really enjoy about Overwatch. Even like it's very much like that. You'll have your moments of downtime, like when you get a team kill or something, but those like those engagements or fights, they can be going on for a minute, like
Oh yeah.
back and forth, etc. So that's something,
We,
I guess that's part of why I enjoy Breakthrough.
we can get into a bit of Overwatch 2 if you want, because the prom asked before what are our thoughts on it. So I wouldn't mind building on that. My thoughts are it's fucking awesome. I never played Overwatch 1. I never liked Overwatch 1. I was never interested in it. But hey, this is why free to play model is good because well, that's
Yes.
quote unquote good. But
Yes.
I thought, hey, it's free. I'm going to give it a try, and oh my god, it works. I have 600 frames per second. My aim actually matters. I'm not going against aim assist, and oh, fucking hell. I do good. I'm pretty good at Overwatch. I must admit, I've done very well so far because I don't have to fucking fight aim assist all the time.
That's true.
When
That
it's
is
just
true.
mouse aim versus mouse aim, oh my god, I win engagements. Who would have
Yeah.
fucking thought it? Anyway,
Yeah, no,
I like Overwatch
it's
too. It's fun.
I enjoy it too. I've got the same opinion, same mindset, I guess. It's definitely the answer, I guess. Like Silk saying in the chat right now, it's the answer right now. It's kind of what people have been waiting out for the past year, 2 years or so. In this like landscape of just nothing in terms of good FPS content or like permanent or like lasting, something you can sink your teeth into. I get like there's been good like games here and there where have good mechanics like Shadowline or but they just don't have that permanency or that they don't have that reputation. So Overwatch 2 has been able to really build on and enhance Overwatch 1's reputation and keep building on that. Yeah. And
I'll
I
probably
think
honestly give it like a 9 out of 10. And as I said,
yeah, right.
went in
I
completely
yeah,
blind to Overwatch. Never knew any of their characters. I just chose
yeah,
Reaper, and I was like, oh, I just got 14,000 damage. Is that good? 21 kill
yeah,
streak. Is
yeah,
that good? And then Power
yeah.
Eaters. So hey,
No, it's good, mate. It's good.
catch me
Yeah,
maining that
yeah.
shit.
Like Dalton's saying, like they just don't have the relevance. They like they don't have that backing in terms of like permanency because people they play it, they're like, oh, this is cool, but there's no sequels or anything. It's just a one-off kind of thing. Whereas Overwatch 2, it's has that history and people are coming back to play it as well as new players. Yeah, and it's also that whole FPS landscape's also contributing to its success because it's a good game in a good with that history, and people are wanting both of those things.
Exactly. And I can't believe I'm in this mindset, but this is what we are in 2022 when it comes to first-person shooter games. I'm astounded and so surprised that Overwatch 2 wasn't a massive disaster flop. Because
I
I've come to
I
expect
agree.
that. Every
I
game
agree.
at the moment is just a disaster flop.
And
And Overwatch 2
you know why that
works.
is?
Oh, gimme.
You,
Yeah,
you know why
COVID.
that is? Because
Rushing
they delayed
devs.
it. They delayed
Oh,
it.
maybe, yeah, that too. I mean, they delayed
Yeah.
Halo Infinite, but what happened
Yes,
there?
but they actually they had all that controversy with Blizzard and everything, and they took the time they needed, and that's the critical thing. It's not rushing those things out. If 2042 had released now, as it I guess should have, think about what kind of state it would be in now, and what kind of
Yeah.
market it would be going into. It would definitely be a lot
Like,
more competitive because you'd have Modern Warfare 2 coming out and you have Overwatch 2 out at the moment. But at least you'd have a game that could stand up against those two. Because now you have, with 2042, you now have a dead game after a year. Well, it's dying, probably dead. I could say dead. And now you have these other two. They're still coming out now, and you have no chance against them.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head there.
So I've always been in the opinion like patience is virtue, and you just got to, if you're going to do something, do it right. It's one of the main principles of science is like you need to be thorough uh, and I guess sure of what you're doing and have the evidence to back it up. And I guess that I feel like that should just transition or be applicable to most things, even just game development. Like, be sure of what you're putting out. Be sure that it's the best representation of what you're able to do, and not some half baked money sellout.
Exactly. Like all the time they spent developing 2042, there has to be some sort of passion and like, this is our brain baby right here. And
I can
what
see
like why
the
didn't
thing
they
is like
think of these like all that
yeah,
work for a disaster release? It was just for nothing.
the thing is
Like
I
it
can
could
see
be
the
at such a
passion.
higher level right now if it didn't release as a fucking disaster.
Yeah. I can see the passion in the game though. I can see that they really wanted this to be that game, like that really appealed to everyone's nostalgia of like here you can play all the previous battlefields of Paul and all that. It's just that it was so poorly executed that they weren't able to make the most of that. And like they've had those updates where your mouse doesn't work or you can't
ADS
aim down
bug.
sights or
Oh, that one fucked me off a lot.
yeah, or even just just everything in between or like weapon progression not working, just those kind of things that just are super super frustrating. And it's just these are the kind of things that just need better QC of just like if you play the game, you notice these things not working, and that's another thing. They have that passion. I can see it in the developers. Like they care about the game, but they're so out of touch with it as well simultaneously. Like they make all these changes that just don't make sense or either don't need to be made or they're making the changes to the wrong things. So for example,
Yep.
like the 12M auto, it's
Oh.
been like quite
Oh.
broken, you could say, for a long time.
Oh. That
Well
fucking gun.
when they changed Pake's what do you call it, her EMG scanner. So it was like it would last for ages, and no one asked for that, but they just went ahead and did it. Like, hey, Trop, how you doing? And it's just stuff like that, or even like when they buff the attack helicopter again recently, and now you can do skyboxing or
That's the
uh,
whole thing.
it's just that thing was nerfed at launch for that reason, and then they bring it back. It's like, well, it's stupid as. And it's just stuff like that. I can see that they're passionate about the game, but they're just out of touch with it simultaneously. Yeah.
Well, that kind of leads into one of the little questions I have here. If you could make three major changes, only three to 2042, what would they be?
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. So
You have a list to choose
first
from of
off,
like 20, but you can only choose
mm.
three.
I'd love to see more close quarters infantry maps. That's like the best maps on Battlefield 5 were those ones: Devastation, Almage, Merida, Operation Underground. All of those maps, best maps, also the most infantry focused maps. Like, and everyone agrees that. Like, that's not only from me. I'm like I mainly play infantry, sort of tracking those kind of characters in games, but like everyone agrees that those maps are the most fun, even if you're a vehicle main. Like, I know you can't play vehicles there, but like it's more action, it's more going on, and that's one of the things that's sorely lacking from 2042. And it's why Stranded was such a breath of fresh air for me, especially like those playing in the ships there. Like that's good fun, and
Yeah,
I feel
like
like that's
just
something that was
dodging
just
and weaving throughout those containers. That it gets
yeah,
really fun, especially
yeah,
when it's a
especially
competitive game, like a lot of back and forward. Like their defense is
yeah,
really
yeah,
good, so you
yeah,
spend 20 minutes just shooting in these containers and eventually push through. It's so gratifying, so rewarding. It's very
absolutely.
satisfying.
That's right. And yeah, I've that's one change I definitely would be making. I guess another one would be the weapon and gun, like the attachment selection, selection. Like you have such a like opportunity here to just have such an expansive list of weapons and attachments, like they do in COD, and yet they've just there's just such a limited selection. It's like 22 on release or something like that. It was like quite underwhelming. And I think I'm hearing like COD MW2 is releasing at least with 50. Like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's
there was
they
not
could have
enough
done a lot
weapons.
better
That's
there. Like, I enjoyed the plus system. Like the plus system they've added it's a good addition. In my
yeah,
opinion,
I
like
I
the
really
ability
like it.
to change your weapon as the situation changes, as you see fit. Like I think that's a great addition to the game. But if you're
I
able
don't think
to
it was
then
executed
complement
right though,
no, yeah. So
in
if
my
you're able to
opinion.
complement that with a greter range of attachments to suit a
Yes.
greater range of situations. I think that would have really helped in that regard. And third change I'd make. Now this one's difficult. I've got a few in mind.
I've got a really good one in mind, which I'd love to share after I hear your third. I just want to get your thoughts on it.
Let you go ahead and share yours while
Reckon?
I choose one. Yeah, go ahead.
I reckon this could zap 2042 right in the heart, give it a massive jump, make it free to play with live service.
Oof.
That's a hot take. And chat, I want to hear your thoughts on this too.
Yeah.
But look, the numbers aren't the greatest. They're not going to be selling many more copies from here on out. Doesn't matter how much they update the game. It's already got a stigma. 2042, bad. So yeah, exactly. So might as well.
Yeah.
See what happens. What's the worst that could happen?
I think the only thing stopping them is their pride. I reckon they just that, and as well as like I think there'd be a lot of outcry from the players who've already bought the game and saying we had to endure all of this. It's now in a better state, and now everyone's getting it free.
True. I mean, at least give us like $80 worth of the in-game currency, whatever.
Perhaps
I'll take it.
Perhaps something like that. Yeah, but
or like give us founders of the game as a special camo or something. Like give us a gold camo that only people who bought the game. I don't know, something to compensate. But I reckon a live service free to play would just breathe fresh air in. Like every update, get a couple new maps in, bring some portal weapons in. And Coach Critical said in the chat earlier on, they need to do what Call of Duty does with their camo mastery or whatever. Tier 1 camo, I think, is a really cool thing to grind for. But hey, if you get all Tier 1 in a category, give them Tier 2. Then once you get them all in every category, give them Tier 3. Make it like gold with like...
I would have liked to see...
I don't know.
Or even camos for, like, say, class camos. Like, Tier 1 in all weapons in the class, you get this camo. Like, that's such an easy thing to add. Like,
yeah. And it gives longevity to the game too. Because, like, if there was a master camo, I would be playing that a lot more than my Battlefield Saturday nights. That's for sure. And
also, people would play a wider range of weapons in that as well. So you get more diversity in gunfights, which leads to more situations.
Sick of the scars, sick of the advances, sick of the 12M.
Yeah, you've got your meta weapons, and there's no reason to switch off from them because if you've already got all your Tier 1 skins on your weapons, like why would you?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a great change, I reckon. Like, but the thing is, they'll never do it. Like they didn't even with.
They'll never do it.
If Firestorm, it was a really solid battle royale,
really?
And it was.
I never actually played it.
It was.
Was it actually decent, or is that just your nostalgia for BF5?
No, ask other people. Like it would have rivaled a lot of the battle royals that were out at the time. I'd argue.
Okay.
The mechanics were there. The map was like semi decent. Like it had a new like the Firestorm, I guess, aspect of it. Like it's the same as a zone, but like it was really like picturesque, I guess. And they could have done it. They could have gone free to play. They could have got those players in there, and it would have attracted more people to the franchise.
Wait, but Firestorm wasn't free to play?
No.
Oh, well, there you go.
You had to buy the full Battlefield 5 game to play it. And then
Blackout for Black Ops 4. Such a fucking great BR. Just ruined because it wasn't free to play.
Yeah. So basically, it just fizzled out. Especially in OCE, like the servers just weren't there. The queue times just became super long, same as Overwatch 1, I guess, eventually, and it just comes to a point where no one's playing it because they can't play it. And no matter how quality it is, it never got there. Yeah. So
so I think we can have somewhat of an agreement on the free to play model.
I think that's a great point, mate.
Cool. Thanks. I'm a winner chicken dinner. All right, what's your third change?
Oh, mate, I'm still.
You can't still one.
No, I can't take that one. I hadn't thought of that one, but I really like that idea. Oh, all right. I've talked about maps. talked about weapons.
What do you think? What do you
Um,
think? I'm gonna sip on my red wine I have in my water bottle because I didn't have a glass. I am
classy,
just
mate.
full
Classy.
degenerate. Oh yeah,
The mullet and everything. Can't wait.
yeah.
This
Mullet,
is all.
fucking water bottle full of liquor. God
This is
damn,
a
what
look.
has happened to me?
All right. Well, I might just finish it off with the class system. It's standard. It's normal. It's just a pretty standard response, but it just yeah, the classes just
Are
needed
they bringing that
to.
in soon in a
They
future
are bringing
update?
it back, but there was no reason to change it. It's just
Yeah,
again
exactly.
reinventing the wheel when you don't need to. Like one
Yeah,
of my
absolutely
pet
right.
peeves is just they've done it with COD as well. Classes in the Battlefield like assault, recon, medic, support. Like it's just they did it with COD with the new perk system as well. Like no one asked for the change, and yet they go and do it. It's just I know that they need to diversify themselves from the previous title, but the thing is, why not just build upon the things that work well? Like that's something that in science is what we do as well. We optimize our protocols. We say this worked well last time. Let's use that, but make this change. Oh, that worked even better. Let's use all of that. Just build it up and up, and then you get to this thing. You get this sequence or this workflow that just works every time, will work, and you just follow that through. It's the same. I feel like it should be the same with game development. I know it might not be. It might feel repetitive. It might not feel fresh, but at least like you're hitting the formula. Like, yeah,
Because let's be honest, like if
I understand it.
okay, this is a very controversial take and probably a fairly accurate one. Battlefield will never overtake Call of Duty. It never would have. It's just like that's it. Battlefield
Yeah,
was a like great FPS. Is series has
I
been fantastic, but it's nowhere near
yeah
the level of COD. So
I
don't try compete. Just stick with what works, and that's just classic Battlefield. We all
yep.
love
Look,
classic Battlefield.
it's
Simple.
like they saw they saw Firestorm and they're like, oh, it kind of was good, but let's try and replicate that with fucking Hazard Zone and look at what the fuck happened there. Like,
Oh,
just stick to what you
have you
know.
even played
Do what
Hazard Zone?
I played one game and I just
Yeah,
shot
same.
AI. I mean,
Yeah.
it's no different to some games in 2042, but that's
Yeah, you
another
are the
story.
AI farmer extraordinaire
Yeah,
supreme.
mate.
Let's be
Yeah,
real.
well,
You,
that's
you go
no
110
fault.
and 2, but your human KD is 0.5. I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah. Well, my stats seem to say something different to that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'll be
Um,
humbled if I look at those again.
it's yeah, that a lot of that I guess a lot of that just comes from like when the game was really dead, like about 3 to 6 months after launch. But now it's picked back up, and then and you're able to find those full lobbies again. So that's
Yeah.
been enjoyable playing it with like players properly. Um, but yeah, so I guess with the class system, just yeah, just don't fix what's not broke. And the same applies
Exactly
to most
right.
games. It's and that's what Overwatch 2's done really well. Like the only major change they've made is 5 players, like 5-person teams versus 6, and it's actually like they obviously did their research and they really investigated like will this improve the game, and it does. Like as a DPS main, as a healer even, it does. As a tank, it's not I'd say not as enjoyable because there's a lot of like getting I guess beam because you don't have a secondary tank to back you up or
I
to
mean,
switch
if you're
out with.
Zarya, you're just going to win every gunfight.
Yeah. um but yeah, it is enjoyable for sure, Macbeth. Not saying it's enjoyable. I'm just saying it might not be as enjoyable as Overwatch 1. Um but that they didn't change that much. Like you still have a lot of the same heroes. They've had their abilities tweaked here and there, but the gameplay, like the core gameplay, is the same. And I can't think of many changes outside of like the 5 versus 6 players that have made, and they stuck with the right formula. Yeah.
Like, as I said before, I came into Overwatch 2 with no Overwatch experience, didn't know a thing.
Hmm.
And I can already tell, like, I knew Overwatch was a thing, obviously. And when Overwatch 2 got like the beta, everyone was like, "Oh, this is just Overwatch 1, but reskin. Oh, this is not Overwatch 2. This is just a DLC."
See,
Well,
that was the
hey,
thing. Everyone was saying,
it's
everyone was
fucking
saying that.
fantastic. They stuck with the
Everyone was,
formula.
that's right. Everyone was saying, "Oh, it's just reskinned Overwatch 1." So fucking what? If it works, people will play it. And look what's happened. People are playing it. It's just
And I know so many
like
other people like me who had no interest whatsoever in why would I say Black Ops 1? I've been saying Black Ops all night. In Overwatch 1. No interest. I didn't care. It looked stupid to me, to be honest.
mhm.
And then I tried it and far out. I mean, it just works when the performance
Yeah.
is perfect. Mouse input, perfect. The hero balance is actually quite good. There are some things that are a little bit too strong, and maybe some things are a little bit too
Mhm.
weak. But that when you got that many heroes, it's hard to keep it perfect, right?
But
But
they
it
do a
just
pretty good job with it with that
fucking
many. So
works. So
yeah.
good. All
But
right.
yeah, no, that's all that's my free, I reckon.
All right. Well, that's a
I
very
guess
solid 3.
yeah, it's pretty core. They're all core aspects of any game, I suppose.
Yeah.
Weapons, maps design, and I guess the class system or equivalent. Yeah.
All right. Well, that you've kind of answered a few questions I've had, like how long have you been playing Battlefield, etc., etc. Let's
Mhm.
just go with this one. What is your favorite and subsequently least favorite Battlefield game?
Said that. What was that? Sorry, I missed that. Most
What's your
favorite, least favorite.
favorite Battlefield and least favorite Battlefield? I don't know why I said
Okay,
subsequently. I don't even know if that's the right word. I just wanted to sound smart because you're a genetic engineer and I'm a boilermaker. Sue me.
that's the right word. Don't worry about it.
Yes! I'm smart!
um, so I guess I've only played 3 titles, I suppose, with BF1, BF5, 2042. I've played
How about we just
I've only
rank
played
those
a
from best to worst?
little bit of a little bit of Battlefield 4, but I'll rank those 3. So I'm gonna put Battlefield 5 above 1. Um, so Battlefield 5 first. Second will be Battlefield 1, and then 2042. And I think by the end of the game cycle, 2042 will overtake Battlefield 1.
Yeah, well, you've got a lot of like 2042's got to hold some sort of special place in your heart at this point because, like, look at your Twitch growth. That's from playing
Yeah,
Battlefield 2042. As much of a disaster it is, think about all the connections and success you've had playing that game. You know,
this is true. Yeah. So
same
that's
reason you
definitely
love
part of
Battlefield
it.
5. It's something special to you.
That's right. And I guess with Battlefield 1, I didn't have that connection with it. I guess with the time thing, like it's visually it's a great game. It's just too slow for my liking. Too I guess too a little bit too casual. Um, and yeah, there's just
I
no
see that. Yeah.
yeah the skill ceiling. There's not as much of one as there is in even in Battlefield 5, or definitely not compared to Battlefield 4. Like yeah,
If you could have played
so
any
yeah,
Battlefield in their prime, what would it have been?
and we're Battlefield 4. Yep.
Reckon? I want to go
Yeah,
Battlefield 3.
I don't know much about Battlefield 3. I've heard good things, but I think I would prefer playing Battlefield 4. Yeah.
Battlefield 4, I have a lot of really good memories of Battlefield 4, and I know you're going to hate me for this, right? But this is, Battlefield 4 came out in 2013, I
Yep,
think,
I
and then
think
it
so.
was re released the next year on next gen consoles. So I played it in like
Mhm.
2014, and I was one of those kids that would lay back with a sniper and spend all game getting 3 marksman bonus 400 point shots. I'd go like 6 and 20, but fuck, I had fun. And like
Yeah,
when the boys hopped on, we all got in a boat and we just started mowing shit down, shit like that. It's
yeah.
so fun when you have it,
So
especially when you play with a squad. Battlefield is so fun.
yeah, so one of the main issues that's one of the main issues I have with some of the modern titles which employ skill-based matchmaking is get that same like you can't get that same like vibe and just chill atmosphere.
You
Like
gotta play comp all the
even
time.
if well, yeah, if you're playing a 6 man on COD, like just with friends and stuff, like different skills, like different KDs, etc. Like it can just be so sweaty that those people who might like have a lot like of lower skill. Like you're still friends with them and everything, but it's just they don't want to play. They don't want to get just rolled every game. It's like
Yeah.
just have a separate competitive mode. Just get rid of skill based matchmaking. Like I know
Have
it's
the
meant to improve the experience of the people who uh, are of less skill, but you can have your protected brackets. You can have all this. Like just give give free license to the 60% of or whatever of the player base, 80% of the player base who don't need those protections or aren't like obscenely skilled in that. Like they're just gonna ruin any game they play. I
I
know that,
like.
but
Oh,
those
sorry, you
people,
keep going.
those people, pub stomping, like those ones, they're better off challenging themselves with competitive games. Like those people who, once you reach that level, like it becomes just repetitive. And those people, like, if there was a competitive mode, I'm sure that if they were streaming, they get people coming in there chat being like, just stop pub stomping, like prove yourself against some elo or like some like other high skill players. Like I know that like
Stop it, you're
there's that
scaring
whole
them.
argument. Yeah, yeah. They didn't want to do that, but I there's a time and place for playing like a sweat, and that doesn't need to be all the time.
Yeah, like the other day I was just relaxing, like I was tired. I just wanted to play something. So I put some
Hmm.
music on. I literally like I leaned back in my chair like this, just relaxing. And I played one game of Modern Warfare 2019 multiplayer, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty fun." Like, it wasn't too hard of a lobby because I hadn't played it in like a couple of weeks, like a few weeks
Yeah,
even.
it's
I was
always
like, yeah, there was a couple of good
the
players in the lobby. There was a couple of shit players. I finished on top. It was all right.
Mhm.
And the next game, I went from this to this with my arm sleeve on. Like, I had to. One game, and SBMM was like, "Brrrr!" And
Yeah,
yeah, it's fucking annoying. And
I
like a
know.
perfect analogy as well is, I got this. Like, we used to play. Me, I don't really play with. Okay, I had some friends that I played Modern Warfare 2019 a lot with. They don't play Call of Duty much anymore because SBMM and it just became too fucking
Hmm.
competitive. They didn't enjoy it anymore because we used to like just lobbying up, using fun guns, but you can't do that anymore. Anyway, we had this friend Dylan. Dylan, great kid, great kid. He was one of the boys. But me, Angus, and Lee, we were pretty good. Like we were in pretty high tier lobbies. And
Right.
Dylan, like, he used to say, like, "Oh, guys, I got a nuke today in a shoot house," and like we're like, "Oh, fuck yeah, man, that's awesome." And by listening to that, you think, "Oh, Dylan must be pretty fucking good, right?" When he joined our lobbies, 1 and 40, and he
Right.
didn't like playing with us. Like we wanted to play with him, but he couldn't
Yeah,
play with
as
us.
yeah,
It ruined the
yeah,
experience for him. It's not fair.
yeah. I've had personal anecdotes exactly the same. Just it's just like that, and it just ruins that kind of experience. Like you'd have in those, I guess, you hear about these MW2 lobbies where you just like it's just pub stomping, and it's just you playing against the same people like each time, and you have those personal like little those battles, and you're like, oh, I'll get in this game, etc. Like you don't see that at all anymore, and those are the things that people miss.
You can't just queue up, listen to a podcast, and play.
Yeah,
Lean back in your
yeah.
chair anymore. That doesn't
So
happen.
that's, I guess that's one of the things I can do a bit with 2042 is like if I'm playing off stream, I don't play too much off stream, but when I do, like it caters to that casual aspect that I'm able to like, I don't know, watch a YouTube video or listen to a podcast or something like while I'm playing. Like it doesn't need to be too. It's not that sweaty. Like it can
Yeah,
be, like if you really want it to be. It can have those moments where it's like breakthrough and it's full on, and you trying your best to get this sector or this point, but you can also just take it easy if you really want to. And
yeah. That's the one thing I
um,
do really enjoy about 2042 is you can relax.
yeah, yeah.
And
So it's just whereas COD just takes that away from you. And even other games like Overwatch, you can play quick play and it doesn't have to be too full on. Whereas and then but you do have that competitive mode where you can like, okay, I'm feeling up to this. So
let
yeah,
me try
that's
here.
something. Yeah, yeah. So that's something I wish that they'd employ more in COD because I think it would benefit the game because I've seen it work in other games. But it's been talked about for years, and there's been no movement on it. So I don't think it's going to happen.
No, they're not gonna make a stand because all the little fucking 2 cents Timmies love Call of Duties now because they think they're really good. And look, if they're enjoying the game, power to them. But what about your more dedicated fan base? You know, we're getting fucked over here.
It's always a balance though, because they need to attract those new players. But if they want to keep permanency, they got to also respect the wishes of those people who've been around.
Exactly. And Razanon, co-host of the Drop Shot of Call of Duty podcast, has been saying this for years now, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. He believes SBMM should exist in a way that if you have a 0.8 KD or below, you're in that lobby, or like that bracket, and if you're 0.8 and above, it's open. 2 brackets.
That's what
Dog
I was
shit,
saying.
like people with one finger or whatever, I don't know. Like battle dads. That's even allowed to say on Twitch anymore. But yeah, let them have their protected lobbies. Fine. That's completely fair. 0.8 and above, fuck you, it's open season, bitch.
Yeah. So the thing is, in all aspects of this is like in all aspects of life, you'll have a standard deviation. So you'll have your outliers, you'll have and then you'll have like your main population. Like you see it in height, you see it in weight, you see it in age even. It's a natural phenomenon. So the thing is, if you just had that open bracket, like below 0.8, I'd say that 20% of the player base is down that way.
It's a lot more than that.
You reckon? Yeah, right.
It's more around 50%.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Even
maybe
60.
I don't know. Maybe if you put it at 0.6, I don't know. But you need it to have that protected bracket. But you need to have.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you were to make it open, like you'd have those people who are fragging out. But the general population is, you would generally get lobbies where it's fairly even because of standard deviation.
Yeah.
Like you'll bump into those top 10%, top 5% people, but generally you're going to be going up against those people in the same 20% as you.
Yeah. So. And I know a lot of Call of Duty, I think Call of Duty in the past would be like, okay, here's the lobby, connection-based lobby. We're going to balance the teams. So one team gets put into one team, one team will be put into another team, and it just balances out via stats. But we all love old Call of Duties, don't we? I wonder why.
Funny like that. Yeah.
Funny how it works. Exactly.
But yeah, I think that it has a place. But if you're gonna have skill-based matchmaking, just show an ELO as well. Just like I was saying, just show something that you can, something you can show off. Like it can be a rank maybe, but I think I like a number more than a rank. Because ranks are a bit, I know they can be up to interpretation a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna be more impressed if you have a competitive back and forward game and you win in a, let's just say, Apex Masters lobby. I'm gonna be more impressed with that than you going 40 kills, 17,000 damage in a bronze lobby.
Yeah.
And that's wild.
There's levels to
analogy, but
this.
You know what I mean?
There's levels to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think
Apex has a soft SBMM. No, not an OCA. Doesn't. Equatorial OCA?
Yes, he is.
Nah, I disagree. If I am in platinum, no, not even that, gold, 3, and I'm dying to Apex Predators, what the fuck? And in every pubs lobby in Apex, I die to someone who is diamond or above. Open pubs. I will literally, the amount of times me and the boys got rolled by a 3 stack of Predators, we literally quit Apex because we got to a point where we were decent, and then it was like, fuck you, it's Predator time. And fuck me. I don't hate Apex. I like watching Apex, hate playing it.
It's got strong opinions on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I have strong opinions on all of things. Mate. I like to go on tangents.
All good, mate. That's a good thing.
Anyway, we've been. That's good. You got anything else you want to bring up? Like any more major points?
If you got any questions, I'll have to answer.
I think we've kind of covered all the notes. Unless chat wants to do a little hot Q&A.
Silk saying that
Silk, yeah.
Apex predators are real IRL predators.
I don't know if we can say that on stream, but
Oh
fuck it,
dear.
I'm agreeing with that. Problem, I
Genji,
won't say
man.
no, but you better not because you've already given me
Genji
too
is one of
much.
the characters I wish I could get to know. So, like I was saying, I mainly play tracking characters. So, Soldier 76 has been my main on Overwatch for the longest time. Um, Zarya when I'm playing tank, and then probably Anna on support. And I feel like I'd love to sort of get to know a couple of more technical characters, say Genji or I can't do a Doomfist. I mean, he's not DPS anymore, but he's fuck. I
Yeah,
hated
who's your
Doomfist
like
players in
number one
Overwatch
main?
One. Number one main on Overwatch,
Yeah.
Soldier 76. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love Soldier
So
76. He's good fun.
yeah, so I used to play Reaper, Soldier 76. Could never get with Widow really. Because it's less tracking, it's more flicking, and my flicking is not as strong as my tracking. So I guess I've always
Warden.
gravitated to what I'm more like suited to.
Reverse Warden is insane Widowmaker player. He just like he doesn't even play Overwatch, and he played Widowmaker, and he was just getting the most insane flick headshots. It was so cool. Holy shit!
Yeah. No, I respect it because it's just a different skill. Like, and I see that, and I just acknowledge that. Yeah, I'm not. I'm always working on trying to improve on that, but naturally it doesn't come to me as much as like tracking does. So I just do what I'm more comfortable at, and I train on what I'm not as great at in my spare time, I guess. Yeah.
I consider
But
myself
yeah.
better at tracking than I am at flick. In Aim Lab, I'm
Yeah.
like top 15% tracking and like top 21 flicking, which doesn't really. I don't know. I'm decent at both, but tracking is probably more my strong suit. Speed is where I'm at. I'm like a 0.05% in speed in
All right.
fucking Aim
Shit.
Lab.
Yeah.
0.01% perception. If I hear something from a certain amount of distance away from any direction, I'll know where they are. Good hearing.
There you go. Good games.
Do you aim train? That's a good question. Do you aim train?
I do. I didn't used to. I've only just started, I'd say, within the last couple of years. Just because I was sort of reaching a plateau in terms of like my aim and sort of that side of things. Like my game sense has always been okay. I'm always trying to improve on that, but that sort of just comes with experience of playing a game. But yeah, I started out on Kovacs, and now I've switched over to Aim Lab, just with time. And yeah, play a couple of times a week, couple of hours a week, and just sort of work on the fundamentals and improve on what I'm weak at. Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. I used to play Kovacs, switched to Aim Lab. I don't train a lot, but you know, for example, before while I was waiting for you to get home from the gym, I was playing it for like 20 minutes, just doing a little bit of tracking. Just why not?
Yeah.
Every now and again, just do a little bit, keep yourself sharp. It's like anything really.
It's also rewarding just hitting PRs. It's the same as the gym, even just hitting those PRs and
Alright,
just having that.
fine, okay. Give us your numbers.
I'm
Give
not.
us
I'm
your
not going to say my
numbers.
numbers. But no.
What? Come on. You
All
have
right.
good
Well.
numbers, man.
All right. Well, the problem is, so I go to gym at like our work. My work has a gym, and so I go to the gym there. Problem is, I've maxed out on the
Shut the
power
fuck.
rack. There's no more plates available, so I'm waiting on them to buy me some more plates.
Oh my god.
But at the moment, I think my max bench is 130 for free.
Free fucking hell. Whew.
My
Big boy.
dead is around 200. I've been able to test in a while because I just haven't had enough plates. And my squat is probably around 160-ish. Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are fucking good numbers. Like your bench is obviously you have good chest genetics because your bench is way higher than
Yeah. I
those
also
other lifts. Like
I
for
should
for
train legs
reference, like
more.
my chest is naturally not very strong like yours because you have a 130. What was that? 135 or 130? bench?
130 for free for bench.
130 for 3 bench. I have a 90 for 2 bench, but my deadlift is also 200 and my squat's 150
Yeah,
and less than you.
So I
You've
should.
got
So
a
the
big
problem,
boy chest.
it's kind of cheating, but I've always had like naturally like large thighs, and so I sort of get away with it in that I don't train legs as much as I should have, but it doesn't look like I have skinny legs. So it's I'm a bit of a menace in that like I don't need
No,
to
that's
train
me.
them. Yeah. Um so it's a bit naughty to be honest, but it works for me because I like it. I like training chest a lot more because legs just take it out of you. It's just
Oh
it's a
yeah,
whole body workout, and yeah, you get pretty tired afterwards. And
that
because
fucking
I'm
fun.
training, yeah, because I'm training right after work, like I mean, like stop work at 5 in the gym at 5:05. Yeah,
Same boat, really.
you're pretty drained by then.
That's
We
why I
got
do
some
legs on
solid,
Friday.
yeah, we got some solid numbers here from Silk as well.
130, 105, 200. Sheesh.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah, so
A fun fact on Friday, training legs. I hadn't trained legs properly in a couple of weeks because, as I said, I was away.
mhm.
So I came back to it. I did hack squat, and I was doing 5 sets of 12. And
Yeah.
guess who now has bursitis in his left knee? Me. God,
Yeah,
it
you gotta
hurts to the
be.
touch.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with these things. Like overtraining is probably the biggest thing for me. I got shoulder pain from doing too many overhead presses at one point, and so you gotta be moderate about these kinds of things. Yeah,
You gotta know your
yeah.
limits.
You gotta know your limits, but it's even like your limit, your limit and overtraining are just different things. So just like uh, you just gotta know your body. Because I've been training for quite a bit now. Going on about 5 years now. I just know what works for me. I know my caloric intake. I know how much rest I need, how much recovery I need,
Yep.
all these kinds of things. And just through time, through experience, it's like game sense, but it's just gym sense, I guess. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
you
I'm
learn
I'm
like
I'm copywriting that.
gym sense.
I don't.
Yeah,
I've
well,
never heard that, but
you learn to
I'm just going
listen
to
to
use
your
that
body.
now.
Like Silk just said, I think I could have gone more on squat when I tested, but it was hurting. That's a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
thing. As soon as you feel any pain, you stop training. I don't care. There's been a couple times where I'm half an hour into my workout and my pec's like, ooh, I'm getting a bit tight here. Stop training immediately. The
I love that
worst thing to
gym
do
sense.
is if you have fucking any kind of pain in any sort of muscle group that you're training, just stop right away. Like obviously you
Yeah,
get muscle pain, like oh my legs are on fire. I've been squatting so hard, but like oh
yeah.
my
There's a
knee's kind of tweaking right now. That's when you fucking
yeah.
stop.
There's a difference. Yeah, you don't you
The bro
only I
has
know
had
like
gym
you
sense.
like yeah the only person you should compare yourself to is yourself. Like I said before the podcast just started. Um, yeah, and like you don't need to be pushing yourself. You'll get there eventually. You just got to be patient. Honestly, I
Gym
one of
is
my
a
pet
very
peeves.
big patience game.
Yeah, one of my pet peeves is all these get fit fast, like all these like oh,
Doesn't work like
30-day
that.
program, get pack abs. They don't work.
Ugh, just a scam.
If it's either you're crash dieting or which is just unhealthy in itself, or it's you're doing something to the body that you shouldn't. Like these things are it's a process and you just gotta trust it. You gotta just partake in it. There's no these things, there's no cheat code, there's no sequence of buttons that you can press which magically gives you like perfect body
Oh
or
man, have
anything.
you ever
It's
had a HTH before?
no, I have not. And
I don't
that I
plan
mean
to. Absolutely not. Fuck
that's
that.
always an
I like my
option, but
testicles.
yeah, I that's like there's consequences to those kinds of actions.
Well,
Yeah.
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 You look like
So
the kind of bloke that will wear all Gymshark. Am I right?
don't have any Gymshark, mate.
Ah,
None.
nah. Surely you
Yeah,
train in the North Face jacket. Surely.
I've never done that. Too warm for it. No, I've just got mainly Nike stuff and Adidas. Like nothing too like not too much branded stuff. Just the cheap stuff. Like I've I've never been one to spend like obscene amounts on like uh like anything in particular.
Same. Most of my stuff's from
Like
Kmart.
I was gonna say most of my shoes are from Kmart because shoes
Actually,
can just be
one thing I do spend good money on is shoes. I like to have nice shoes. That's
yeah.
it.
Like
Don't care about anything else. I
I
just want some nice shoes. Like this is what I wear to the gym. This is my fucking Kmart
I'm
drip
like I
to
have
the gym.
I have a couple of
Look at
nice
this.
shoes that I wear
Got
out. But,
fucking some grey shorts and a gander hoodie. Like this is.
oh,
I train in whatever's comfortable.
Gander's goaded, mate. I love that for you. I've got a fair bit of Gander stuff.
I don't mind Gander. It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Gander or Gander? I actually
Gander.
don't know.
Gander. If you say Gander, you're banned.
But yeah, no, I'm not too fussed about all that. Like, but like I try to buy stuff that's nice here and there, and just like try to take really good care of that stuff.
Yeah, well, you look like you take good
Cool.
care of yourself. Like I'm gonna gas you up here, right? You're a very, very handsome fella. I mean, look at you.
Here we go.
You're
Here
literally
we
the
go.
Chad. I've even got a tag in the stream right now of Chad. Yeah, you dressed up nice. You got a nice jacket. You got a t-shirt. Better than this. I mean, look at me. I'm fucking dirty
Hey,
mullet. I cut myself.
this
Gander
is my
hoodie.
work. This is the work clothes. Actually, this was when I talk about like I guess get nice stuff that I want to take care of. Like I got this when I was in Canada. This jacket.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I just love it, and like, but there's the thing is like this thing will, if I take care of it, like it can last you 10 years, 5 years, whatever.
Oh yeah. Like,
Gucci.
hang on.
So
Is it here? No, it's not there. I've got this red hoodie I wear to the gym a lot. And I've had it since 2013, and it still fits because when I bought it, when my parents bought it for me, it was way too big. And now I'm starting to get a little bit too big for it, which makes me sad. But also kind of happy at the same time because I'm getting too big for it.
What's your average Overwatch 2 tea, mate?
That's how much I lift.
Yeah.
Team of Traces.
It's like it's like the scrum pack, and Prom's talking about the Overwatch 2 team ways. It's like you got your little scrum half, and then you got your big props there. But
Oh man, this
yeah,
has
no, it's been good, man.
been a fantastic stream. This has been a great pod. I don't think I've had a bad pod yet. It just once you get into the flow of things, it's really good. I mean, honestly, the only not as good pod I've had is with Baz, but we're both very sick, so
That's
that
not good.
happens
Yeah,
sometimes. But
yeah.
to be fair, I was actually hungover as fuck, and he had COVID. But we don't talk about
Uh,
that. That was the night after I did a massive Battlefield stream. I went through an entire bottle of Maxwell's honey mead in that one sitting. Oopsies. But I like to play, as I said, Saturday Night Battlefield on twitch.tv/AussieMenace. Most Saturday nights I'll be playing Battlefield.
This is a thing you might not know, something you might not know about me, but I actually don't drink. So
I knew
there's
that about you,
that.
but I
Yeah.
have a lot of respect for that.
So yeah, so I've just never been into it, but I just see the benefits of it, like the amount of money people spend on alcohol, the amount like the times they make a fool of themselves, the health consequences, all those kinds of things. Like it's just I don't see the benefit of it honestly, and like it's like I'll taste things like I'll have a sip of something just to see what it's like, but I've never been in it for just the drinking purpose of it, of getting drunk,
Yeah.
getting wasted. Like
It's
I
not
just
really
don't see
worth it
the
at all, to be honest.
yeah, I don't see
Like,
the I guess appeal in that.
I will admit, like, I don't drink a lot. Absolutely not. Like, at the most, I'll have one standard throughout the week. And, like, this little bit of red wine I filled up to about here is all I'll have
Yeah.
probably for the next 2 weeks. But sometimes,
Yeah, right.
like, when the stream's kind of popping off and I have my little wheel set up and sometimes the wheel lands on the shot when you sub and I'm like, oh, fuck, I have to have that.
Yeah.
Sometimes
That's
I
all
like to get a little bit crazy, but, like, in general, nah, it's not worth it. It's
Yeah.
just you're just wasting money and you're wasting your body, to be honest. Especially when you're you're heavy in the gym. Like, alcohol is not good for muscle recovery at all.
No.
It's like
no,
anti-recovery.
Yeah. So yeah, just never been one to do it. So I guess that helps with the gym for sure. But
Oh yeah.
yeah. Sounds good, man. But yeah, it's been great talking on here. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, dude.
Yeah, it's been an absolute honor, honestly, an honor to have you on. It's been fantastic. Like, it literally, for those who don't know, like, Trigger and I haven't actually known each other for that long. How was it? Yeah, that's right. I was playing 2042, and I
That's
just
right.
got
Yep.
killed. I got killed by this sweaty cunt, right? His name was TriggerBF. And I'm like, hang on, I've seen him on the TL before. So I followed him on Twitter, and like I reached out to him on in the stream, and he's like, "Oh, I've seen you on Twitter too." And we just started chatting, and then I'm like, you know what? You'd be an excellent person to have on my new podcast because I wanted to try and get a lot of different types of creators for the first 5 guests. I wanted a Call of Duty main. I had Baz as well. Like I had a Warzone main, an SND main, an Apex main, and a Battlefield main. So,
Hmm.
it's been fucking fantastic to have you on. And I've said it to a lot of people and I've said it to you and I will say it again. You are too nice of a guy. I don't know how you're real. Genetic engineer, handsome, super kind, strong as fuck. You're just the alpha male, honestly. But yeah, no, it's been fucking
Too
awesome to
many
have you
kind of
on.
words. No,
Too many
mate,
kind words.
you're
That's the whole
more.
point of the show. I gas people up. That's my job.
I'll,
That's what I like
I'll
to do.
I'll just sit here and look pretty. How about
Yeah, yeah, you do that. You do that.
that?
Anyway, so we're going to wrap this bitch up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Very much thank you all for listening this far in. If you want to follow me on my socials on Twitter, I'm Aussie Menace TTV. Sorry about the TTV, it's cringe, but some cunt took the Aussie Menace at. On Twitch, where this is actually streamed live every weekend. The podcast, yes, is streamed live. And hey, come hang out for half an hour in the pre-show. That's twitch.tv/Aussie Menace. YouTube, you can search FPCS Podcast and Aussie Menace. That's me done for my plugs. Now, this is your chance to get your shit out there, buddy. Tell me where
All
we can
right.
find you.
All right. Well, you can find me at TriggerBF on Twitch. Ain't no TTV here. And same on Twitter. Find me at Twitter, TriggerBF on there as well. Hopefully one day I might get rid of the BF, just Big Trigger. But I think we've got to work towards that's a goal for later on. Got to keep building towards that.
Problem is, Trigger's definitely taking this and that.
I think there's someone's taken it, but I think they only have a couple of followers, and I reckon if I was to ever get to a big enough stage, I might be able to convince them. But we'll see. We'll see.
I actually reached out to the guy that had the Aussie Menace at, and I was like, I'm going to buy this off you. And he's one of the people that made an account and then just dipped. So I've sent him multiple messages like, yeah, how much is it going to take for me to buy this from you? Nothing. And
Well.
his fucking bio is, fuck you, pay me. Created in 2017 after I started uploading to YouTube as well.
He's
Originally.
he's on that. He's on it. He knew
Probably
what
one
was
of my
coming.
mates just fucking with me from school. Surely. I
That
don't
would
know.
be that would be
That would
good.
be funny. I would admit, that would be funny, but I'll get it one day.
One day, mate. Just gotta keep grinding. You'll get there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, thank you very much for listening. Please do everything in your power to go check out Trigger on everything. Again, fucking great player, great bloke. Get around him. Follow him on Twitch, Twitter, all that shit. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate your time. Again, if you want to get your little name out there, whatever you want, iTunes reviews. So if you leave not even a 5-star, if you just leave a review on iTunes, I will read it out on stream. Simple as that. It's a good little incentive for you to rate the stream because the ratings are very important for the reach of the stream. If you're listening on Spotify or any other podcast app, rate it 5 stars. 5 stars only, otherwise get the fuck out. Just kidding. You can rate it whatever you want. I want honesty and I want feedback and I'll listen to it all. So again, thank you very much for listening. Have an excellent evening, day, night, whatever it is for you. Peace the fuck out. This is where you say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.